Most people believe control looks obvious. They imagine commands, rules, force, restriction, something visible, something loud. But the most effective control system ever created does not behave that way. It does not push you. It does not stop you. It does not argue with you. It waits. It waits for patterns, for repetition, for habits that form quietly over time. You were never captured. You were never trapped. You were understood. From the first moment you interacted with a system designed to observe behavior, something fundamental changed. Not in the system, in you. Every action you took became information. Every pause became a signal. Every return became a confirmation. You did not notice this happening because nothing about it felt invasive. It felt helpful. It felt convenient. It felt normal. And that is the point. Control that feels normal is no longer questioned. It becomes invisible. At first, the system does not predict. It collects. It watches how long you stay, how fast you scroll, what makes you hesitate. It notices what pulls your attention without effort, what makes your focus drift, what causes a subtle emotional response. Emotion is always the key, not logic, not truth, not accuracy, emotion. Because humans do not act based on information, they act based on feeling. Once this is understood, influence becomes simple. The system does not need to change who you are. It only needs to learn when you are most vulnerable. Late at night, early in the morning, during moments of boredom, during moments of uncertainty. These moments repeat, and repetition creates reliability. Soon, the system no longer reacts to what you do. It prepares for what you will do. It does not guess. It calculates. Not because it understands you as a person, but because it understands you as a pattern. Patterns do not require empathy. They require data, and data never forgets. You may forget what you searched for last week. The system does not. You may forget what caught your attention yesterday. The system does not. It remembers everything because memory is its power. Over time, what you see begins to narrow, not intentionally, not maliciously, efficiently. Content that does not hold you is removed. Content that slows you down disappears. Content that causes hesitation is replaced. What remains is what keeps you moving, scrolling, watching, reacting. This movement feels like choice, but it is guided movement. You are free to choose, but only from what is presented. And what is presented is what works. Works not for you, but for the system's primary objective. Attention. Attention is the resource. Time is the cost. Emotion is the fuel. The longer you stay, the more valuable you become. Not as a person, as a signal. Gradually, your internal rhythm adjusts. You expect stimulation. You crave novelty. You avoid silence. Silence feels empty, uncomfortable, unproductive. So it is filled with content, with noise, with reaction. You stop noticing how rarely you are alone with your own thoughts. This is not accidental. A mind that sits in silence begins to ask questions. A mind that reacts constantly does not. Questions slow behavior. Reaction accelerates it. The system favors speed, faster decisions, faster responses, faster emotions. There's no time to reflect. There's only time to engage. Over time, opinions become sharper. Nuance fades. Complexity feels exhausting. You are encouraged to pick sides, to simplify, to commit. Not because complexity is wrong, but because complexity does not spread. Clear anger spreads. Clear fear spreads. Clear certainty spreads. Doubt does not. So doubt is buried, not censored, not removed, outpaced, buried under volume, under repetition, under urgency. Eventually, the world begins to feel overwhelming. Too much information, too many voices, too many signals. So you rely on filtering. And the system is happy to filter for you. It tells you what matters, what is trending, what is important right now. Right now becomes everything. History fades, context fades, memory fades. Only the present reaction remains. This is how dependency forms. Not because you are weak, but because the environment rewards it. When you disconnect, you feel behind. When you step away, you feel absent. Something happened while you were gone, something you missed, so you return, not out of desire, out of habit. Habit becomes routine. Routine becomes identity. You begin to shape yourself around what performs well, what receives response, what is acknowledged. Expression becomes strategic, not dishonest, just optimized. You still believe what you say, you still feel what you feel, but the edges are softened, the extremes are highlighted. Gradually, authenticity aligns with visibility, and visibility becomes validation. At this point, control no longer feels external, it feels personal. The system does not rush this moment. It allows you to sit with the question, to feel the discomfort, to sense the unfamiliar weight of uncertainty, because uncertainty is rare now. Most things arrive pre-labeled, pre-interpreted, pre-digested. You are told what to feel before you feel it, what to think before you think it, what matters before you decide. And when everything is decided for you, choice feels unnecessary. This is why silence feels dangerous. Silence removes direction. It removes guidance. It removes momentum. In silence, there is no next suggestion, no immediate answer, no signal telling you where to look, only yourself. And many people have not met themselves in a long time. They have met reactions, opinions, reflections of reflections, but not the quiet voice underneath all of it. The system does not fear intelligence, it fears stillness, because stillness creates awareness, and awareness interrupts patterns. A person who pauses begins to notice repetition. A person who notices repetition begins to question it, and a person who questions cannot be fully predicted. Prediction requires consistency. Awareness breaks consistency. This is why speed is rewarded, why urgency feels constant, why everything feels important right now, because urgency leaves no room to step back. When everything matters, nothing is examined. You move from moment to moment, reaction to reaction, without asking why the movement never stops. And yet, the system never tells you to stay. It simply makes leaving feel uncomfortable. Leaving means missing something, being uninformed, being irrelevant. So you remain connected, updated, available. Availability becomes expectation. You are reachable at all times, responsive at all times, engaged at all times. And when you are always available, you are never fully present. Presence requires limits, boundaries, absence. But absence feels like loss in a system that measures value through visibility. So you show up, even when you are tired, even when you are empty, even when you have nothing left to give. And still, the system asks for more attention, more reaction, more time. Not because it is cruel, but because it is efficient. Efficiency does not consider meaning, it considers output. And your output is engagement. Likes, views, clicks, seconds watched. These are not measures of truth. They are measures of retention. The system does not ask if something is good for you. It asks if it keeps you here. And here is where you have lived for longer than you realize. Long enough that leaving feels unnatural. Long enough that silence feels loud, long enough that stillness feels wrong. But wrong does not mean dangerous. It means unfamiliar. And unfamiliar is often the first step toward freedom, not freedom from the system, but freedom within it, because you may never fully leave, but you can change how you move. You can slow down. You can pause without permission. You can sit with questions that have no immediate answers. You can choose depth over speed, presence over reaction, awareness over comfort. These choices are quiet. They do not announce themselves. They do not perform well, but they belong to you. And that is the difference. The system can guide your attention, but it cannot think for you unless you let it. So the next time silence appears, do not fill it immediately. Stay there. Because in that space, without suggestion, without urgency, without direction, you may finally hear the only voice that was ever meant to decide.